Hello, dear student. Myself, Mr. Amardeep Ramprasad Jadhav. I am working as assistant professor in chemistry at Lake Pushpadev Patel Arts and Science College, Resort. So, in our bridge course, in last lecture, we have seen the development towards the modern atom. What will be the structure of the atom was was a question in front of the our ancestors, and the journey towards the modern structure of the atom began with the Democritus. There he proposed a hypothetical model. He is a philosopher, so he can't perform the experiment, but he did is he just proposed a hypothesis or a philosophical model of the atom. Then afterwards, Dalton given the model, uh, which he kept the basic idea of the atom intact of that of the Democritus, but he shown some experimental proofs to it. Then there will be some drawbacks to it, which will be come over by the experiment done by Rodney. What is his name is Rodney? Yes, Frederick, right? Then after that, the next journey towards the modern structure of the atom is done by the experimental proofs given by the cathode ray experiment of J.J. Thomson, and then the he discovered the electrons, and we have seen how to calculate the mass of the electron by the oil drop method of the Robert Millikan. And then after this, we are going to see the nuclear model of atom. Till now, whatever the journey we did with the time, I mean with the journey of the time, I mean here is the development in BC. The Democritus proposed the structure of the atom. Then after 2000 years, Dalton proposed the structure. Then J.J. Thomson, then Rodney Frederick, and then Millikan. After this, there comes a nuclear model, which is given by the yes, Rutherford, the very essential, or we can say very popular experiment in the journey of the structure of the atom is the experiment of the Rutherford. And here Rutherford's experiment or Rutherford's model of atom is called a nuclear model. Why? Because till now, whatever the journey towards the structure of the atom is done by the scientists or the philosophers, they didn't say anything about the nucleus. But here the concept of the nucleus is begun in the study of the atomic structure. So the model which is given by the Rutherford is also called as the nuclear model, which is given by the Rutherford. This is the photo of the Rutherford and his experiment, very famous experiment known as the gold foil experiment. Okay. So Rutherford, what he did, he discovered the nucleus and the positive proton. Then he summarized atoms made up of mostly empty space. So these are the postulates of the Rutherford after performing the gold foil experiment, which we are going to see what that experiment is in the next slides. He didn't know about the neutrons, but he know about the protons, and the electrons were discovered by J.J. Thomson. And he said that the nucleus is there because whatever the charge or the weight of the atom, it's concentrated in the nucleus. This is what the finding of the Rutherford, and hence he says that the nucleus is there in the atom with positive charge in it. Okay, nucleus contains protons, and this experiment is, you know well, that it is the gold foil experiment. Although he said about the nucleus and the protons, he didn't mention anything about the neutrons. Means till now the idea of the neutron is not there in the atom till Rutherford's experiment. So this is how the Rutherford experimental setup looks like. This is the photographic plate, or we can say the detecting screen, okay, circular in shape. This is the alpha particle containing box, which is made up of a heavy metal and which has here the nuclear material. Okay, nuclear material means what? The material which emits alpha, beta, gamma rays, like the radium or the atom bomb. You know that atom bomb consists of this radioactive material. Okay, radioactive material. Okay, so this is the source of the radioactive material and the alpha particle which emits alpha particle. These alpha particles then travels through this pore, through this slit on the photographic plate, and it falls onto this gold foil. Okay, so this is the gold foil. These rays, alpha particles or the alpha rays, they comes out through this radioactive material and falls onto this gold foil. Then what he observed, that most of the alpha particles which are passing through the gold foil didn't deflect their direction. Okay, so most of them passes through the gold foil. Okay, then he observed that there is a little bit deflection in the direction of the, like this, in the direction of the alpha particle. Most of it passes through the thick ray of alpha particle. It passes through the gold foil as it is and fall onto the photographic plate or the detecting screen. The detecting screen is a photographic plate where when this alpha particle gets strike to this particular screen, there will be a black spot will be observed. So this is the detecting screen for this experiment, this photographic plate. Okay, so most of the alpha particles, they passes through this gold foil as it is. They do not deflect their direction and strikes onto the photographic plate or the detecting screen, and some of them, they get deflected by a small angle. Okay, these are the rays which are getting deflected by the small angles, and very few, less than whatever deflected, gets back towards the direction of this alpha particle source and strikes onto the photographic plate. Very less. Okay, so on the observations of this particular experiment, this postulates whatever we have seen in the last slide, we are proposed by the Rutherford. Here is the experimental detail, that particles shot through the thin sheet of gold foil. Most of went straight, a small amount were deflected, and small amount will get back as it is. Hence, the atom must be made up of mostly empty space. This experimental findings shows that most of the atom space is empty. Okay, and along with this empty space, it has a small dense nucleus. Okay, it is having a small and dense nucleus. Why small and dense? Because very few alpha particles get reflected back, and as alpha particle possesses a positive charge, and we have seen positive, there is a reflection. Yes, no attraction, there is, what we can say, there is no attraction towards one another, there is a deflection. Say they gets positive negative charge gets attract, but positive and negative charge gets away from one another. So here positively charged particles, when falling onto this nucleus, they gets reflect back and deviated back by very big angle, like shown in the diagram, and hence this Rutherford confirmed that the small dense nucleus is present in the atom. Okay, then further explanation of the nuclear model, because it is something saying about the nucleus, and hence this model is known as the nuclear model. In previous models were correct, but alpha particles would have passed through them straight. Okay, if previous models were correct, if then all the alpha particles should have to pass through it, isn't it? Whatever amount of alpha particle they are getting deflected in this model, that shouldn't have to be occur if the previous atomic model was correct or were correct. But now these alpha particles were getting deflected, hence the new model should be proposed, and the previous models whatever given for the atoms were incorrect or partially correct. So this is what the further explanation of the nuclear model. Okay, previously what they said, the positive charges were dispersed and negative charges were dispersed, like that cookie model, right? Chocolate cookie model, watermelon model, etc. Okay, so this is not there. All these positive charges are not present anywhere in the structure of the atom, but they were concentrated in the nucleus. Suppose this is the nucleus, which is shown in the red color circle. All these positive charges were present over here in it, and negative charges were revolving around it. Okay, so this is what is the basic and the most important finding of the nuclear model proposed by Rutherford. Now these are the finding. So there is a bit deflection. Okay, so we can even though we can see that in this particular diagram that most of the alpha particle, suppose these red arrows are nothing but the directions of the alpha particle. If the previous models were correct, then there will be very less or very less negligible deflection in the direction of the alpha particle. That is this diagram shows. Okay, but there is a deflection in the alpha particle, so the previous whatever models proposed for the structure of the atom were incorrect or partially correct. We can't say directly incorrect, but partially incorrect. Okay, now what is the problem of the Rutherford? That is the we can say that these are the postulates. Okay, so what is the problem of the Rutherford is shown in these diagrams, where suppose we have given a particular thing behind the cloud. So this white is nothing but the cloud, and behind this we are passing this alpha particle on this cloud, and they may get deflect like this, they may get deflect like this. So this is the problem, and on this we can't see any 90-degree deflection in the particular experiment of the gold foil. Okay, we have seen this deflection like this shown in this target 2. Okay, so on the basis of that we can say that atom is circular in shape, not this is a triangular. If the alpha particle falls on the triangle, they will deflect in the 90 degrees, but they deflects by some other angles than the 90 degrees, since we can say that the nucleus will be circular in shape. Okay, circular in shape. So this is what is the explanation, but Rutherford didn't even say that the neutrons were present in the nucleus. So Rutherford found that most 99% of the alpha particles went straight. Then in the 1% which is remaining, 99% will get deflection, 1% only get reverts back. Okay, so from this experiment Rutherford concluded that atom has a dense positive core, which is called as nucleus, with the rest composed of mostly empty space with an occasional negative charges. Okay, these occasional negative charges are nothing but the electrons. Okay, these negatively charged particles are electrons, and these are the protons. Okay, these are the protons, positively charged particles, and rest of the empty space in the atom. Okay, so this is how that can be shown in the this diagram. Okay, so very few, most of the 99% get passed through, and very few will get deflected. Okay, like this one. But note, this model completely changes the definition of the atom. Okay, So what are the first findings are like this. As we have seen them previously too, that most of the atom or the alpha particle passes through the gold foil, then very few get deflected and very few gets greatly deflected. So on the basis of this, the model was proposed by the Rutherford, and the conclusions of the Rutherford are based on all these findings, that the nucleus is very small, it is highly dense, and it is a positively charged species. Understanding the thing, by the experiment of the gold foil, all these conclusions were made by the Rutherford. Now then, after Rutherford, Niels Bohr's model of atom comes into the picture, and he said that electrons are exist in several distinct energy levels. Whatever the J.J. Thomson and the Dalton models were there, they were saying that the electrons were dispersed in the circular space in an atom, but the findings previously, these findings were put back by the Niels Bohr, and he said that these electrons were not dispersed anywhere in the atom, but they were belonging to the particular energy levels, and these energy levels were nothing but the orbits. You have heard the word in your previous classes of 12th, where this orbit comes into the picture, or the shell, right? So whatever this particular diagram here, over here, it is drawn by the Jimmy. Hence this particular model is said as Jimmy Neutron model, where this red color is the nucleus, and these circular rings were nothing but the orbits, and these dots in this ring are nothing but the electrons, right? These electrons were revolving around the nucleus, as this Niels Bohr said. Okay, this electron travels around the nucleus, like our solar system, where all the planets were revolving around the sun in particular orbit, right? Every planet has an orbit. Likewise, here in this particular model, we can say that planets were nothing but the electrons, and sun is nothing but the nucleus, where all these planets were revolving around the sun. Okay, so these circular paths are nothing but the orbits. Okay, then electron can jump from one energy level to another energy level when the energy is being given to the electron, or it can be absorbed from the electron. Suppose this is the layer where this is the first layer, this is the second layer, and this is the third layer, or the orbit, where this middle, suppose we provide an energy to this particular electrons in this particular orbit, then they travels from this orbit into the third orbit. Okay, so this is how they can jump, and when energy is taken away from this particular electron, it can shrink down or jump down, and may get travel to this, or may get transferred to this lower energy level, right, or the orbit. Understanding the thing, that energy can be in the any form, like heat, or we can give some microwave, or we can give some magnetic energy to it. So energy can be different thing. Electric energy is there also. So then what are the Niels Bohr's model says that Niels Bohr proposed that electrons revolve around the central positive nucleus, whatever we have seen, that this point we have seen in the previous slide. Like this, suppose these are the nucleus where the protons were present, and these are the 3 electrons, because atom is a neutral species, so if it contains 3 protons, it should have 3 electrons to get neutralized. These are the positively charged, these are the negatively charged. So here we can say, suppose these are the electrons, this is the lower energy level, this is the higher energy level, means here the energy of these electrons is low, and here the energy of these electrons in this orbital is higher. If we provide some energy to electrons of this orbital, they transfer from this orbital to this orbital, and if we take energy from this electron belonging to this particular orbital, then it jumps down into this orbital. This is what is said by the Niels Bohr model. It also suggests that electron can revolve in certain orbits at certain energy levels. Likewise, in that particular diagram, in this energy levels only, the electron will move or travel. Suppose this is the nucleus. See, this is the nucleus and this is the path of the orbital of the electron, where electron can move, but in between there is empty space. Here you cannot find any electron. Electron will belonging to this particular circular path only. Understanding the thing? This is what this Bohr's model says. This particular thing is we can understand by the model of this stair. Suppose this is the one stair, okay, this is another stair, then this is another stair, then this is another stair. Suppose these flat surfaces of the stair are nothing but the energy levels, okay, one energy level, another energy level, another energy level, another energy level, right, like this. But in between this energy level there is a gap, okay, which is shown by this particular thing, okay. Here can you stand? No, you can't stand over there, but you can stand on this particular flat surface of the stair. Suppose you are electron. If you if I ask you to move down the staircase, then your foot will reach onto this particular flat surface, or you can stand on this flat surface, but you can't stand on this particular vertical section of the stairs, right? So this is how we can say that electrons belong to particular energy levels, and in between these energy levels there is a gap where electron cannot be found, or you can't stand over here on this particular vertical space of the stairs, okay. So there is a observation that you can't find electron between the energy levels, but it is in the energy levels, okay. Then after this model comes into picture the Heisenberg and Schrodinger's model. Then after this comes into the picture the model given by the Heisenberg and the Schrodinger's. Where Heisenberg and Schrodinger says that electrons cannot be found in particular orbital, but it is found in a fuzzy region or a cloud, okay. And this particular theory improves the findings of the Niels Bohr, and this Heisenberg said that the electron location cannot be predicted, which is given or known by the name Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that you can't certainly predict the charge and the location of the particular electron at particular time, okay. So this is what is the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Whatever these findings were mathematically given by the Schrodinger in a quantum mechanical model of the atom, okay. So the quantum mechanical model, what it says is the current understanding of the model is model structure of the atom is basically dependent on the quantum mechanics. Then this model sees electron not as an individual particle, but it's seen it as a wave or a cloud. So particular nature of the electron is not supported by the quantum mechanics, but they said that these electrons are wave in nature, okay. The dual nature thing, you know, and you might have heard, but I don't know whether you exactly heard or not, but that is the dual particular nature. That part, it may act as particle or it may act as a wave. So whatever the sayings of this particular model given by the Schrodinger and the Heisenberg, they can say that electron can be found in this particular cloudy space anywhere, and these electrons, they can't be say, suppose you draw a line over here, we can't say that electron is belonging to this particular line, but it can be found in between this particular band anywhere at any time, okay. And same is the case for the proton also. There the nucleus is very tiny, and it is also having this particular form of orbitals where protons can revolve in the nucleus, okay. So we are not going into that details, but this is what the sayings of the quantum mechanics model about the electron, okay. So electron can be found over anywhere in this particular fuzzy cloud. These are nothing but the shells or the orbitals, and note that the electron are still quantized. They can be found only in particular these gaps only, these two electrons found over only this particular space only. They can't be found over here in this orbital. So whatever the sayings of the nail board that the shells are quantized, they are quantized, but they are not a single circular path, but this is the band or the cloud of the path or energy where electron can be found anywhere. Okay, if we provide energy, then this electron can jump to this energy level. Okay, but at the neutral energy level where we are not providing any energy to this particular electron, then they will be found only in this particular band. Okay, and this is the empty space here also, and here also you can't found electron over here in this space and in this space. So this is what we have seen by that staircase model also. Okay, so most of the things whatever given by the Dalton and Bohr's we are explained by the quantum mechanics mathematically, and the quantum mechanical model is the most accurate model, but it is very difficult to understand the concepts of the quantum mechanics or the quantum mechanics model about the atom, and most of it contains the mathematical part. So at UG level it is bit difficult to understand the quantum mechanical model, and it is not only for the UG but PG student also. The thing is very complex or the complicated about the understandings of the quantum mechanical model. But see if possible at higher energy, at higher studies, you should go through this quantum mechanics model to understand the atomic structure, energy levels, reactions of the particular element with another compounds, and all those things can be understood theoretically by the mechanical quantum mechanical models. Okay, this quantum mechanical model is also of the two types: the Newtonian model, that is the classical mechanics, and then the Schrodinger model, that is the wave mechanics. Okay, so thank you for this listening these lectures. So this bridge course lecture about the atom and its history ends up over here. If you are having any question about this particular topic, then do ask me in the comment box, or do ask me on the WhatsApp group. I am having my number in that particular group also, so you can ask me on my personal number or in the group too if you didn't understand anything about this particular topic. Okay, thank you.